Will you need a quality management system for your company or startup? Coming up now. Hi, I'm Oliver and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, welcome and please consider subscribing and pushing that notification bell. Well, let's get started with today's topic. Will you need a quality management system for your company or startup? Before we deep dive into this, we first have to define what a quality management system actually is. On a very superficial level, a quality management system is a formalized way of all management processes from top to bottom of the complete company setup. As for today's video, I'm referencing to the ISO standards and more specifically on the ISO 9001, which is more or less the basic quality management system guideline. Now, there are cases, and these are important to know in advance, where you do not have a choice whether or not to have a quality management system for a company. These are specifically for industries that require them to be there, such as medical devices, pharma, and or let's say car supplier industries. Of course, there are many more industries, and the variety of possible ISO standards that are available and quality management systems according to them are vast. However, this is not part of the topic of this video. We will now focus solely on the basic ISO 9001 quality standards for your company. So what does a quality management system actually do? Well, first of all, it should ensure that your company is always having a customer focus. This should then result in better products and or services, as well as a better customer service. Now, I hope that you're doing these things already. However, this is the main focus of a quality management system to ensure it in a more systematic way. How does it do it? First of all, it defines leadership principles. The way the company should execute things from top to bottom or in a matrix organization, no matter what, but these things need to be clear and obvious for everybody. The next thing it does is it will define systematic processes. Now, these processes will be structured into main processes, sub-processes, and worksheets. At the end of this video, I'm going to show you an example so that you get a better understanding how these structures actually look like based on a hospital's food delivery service. The fourth point of a quality management system is it should enable systematic improvement. Now, the systematic improvement actually means that you have a process and a regular catch up on things that need improvement. This is a long-term process and this will continue year after year after year, of course, but this is very crucial that this is more formalized so that you have a better outcome and improvement of your company, and of course by this hopefully saving some costs and getting more customers. Fifth thing actually on the list that quality management should enable you to do is data-based decisions. Now, when we're starting a company, of course, most of the time we do not have sufficient data, and hence most of the decisions are based on the assumptions that we do. Nonetheless, the longer your company executes, the more data you have, and the more you should actually rely on the data that you generate and use them to come up with fact-based decisions. Point number 6, a quality management system actually deals with is relationship management. Now, this actually implies things like how do we deal with our customers? How do we talk and deal with our own employees? How do we talk to other external sources or internal sources in general? Why is that critical? Well, at the end, everybody should know how and whom to contact when, and there should be a formal way of, escalating or not if things are going, let's say, out of control or out of the norm. And the seventh and last thing a formal quality management system should do is it should provide you with a formal risk management system. Now, a formal risk management system actually is nothing else but a way to look at the risk that all of you and all of us have been confronted with or are confronted with currently and in the future, and what are the things to mitigate those risks. It is important to keep that up in the management because you want to know which are things that have the highest impact and maybe the lowest probability, and which have, like, let's say, a low probability and a high impact, or a low probability and a low impact, and then also know what you should do to prevent or mitigate those risks. Furthermore, you would like to adapt some of the processes once you identify the risks within your company so that those risks actually do not happen. Okay, so now these are the benefits of a quality management system. But of course, wherever there's an upside, there's of course a downside. The first thing I would say on the downside is that a quality management system is really expensive to establish and really expensive to run. Now, people will say, oh no, it's not, la la la, and you will have, depending on the consultant you have, more or less costs. However, reality is if you're a small business and you're just starting up, spending a couple of thousands just for a basic quality management system and then keeping it up running is significant for many of us. Furthermore, a quality management system actually needs to be taken care of. So you have to constantly update everything. And of course, you will need to spend more money for audits coming in. You will have a yearly audit, small audit, and every 3 years, a major audit. And of course, they will cost because you cannot do them by themselves. But you have to have an external consultant to do that for you. If your financials are sound and you do not care about, let's say, spending another $50,000 on a quality management system at the end, then of course there's one thing you should be aware of, and that is usually a quality management system will slow you down. So if you're just starting up and you're still not sure how the product will be and you're still developing your minimal viable products, you need to be fast and agile. You can only do this properly if you do not have a quality management system. Don't get me wrong. If you are forced to have a quality management system anyway, then better implement it from the start so that you do not have to waste time, money, and effort afterwards to re-document everything, because that is the worst thing that can happen to you, and it will, I would say, at least 3x your cost. Easy. So let's go into a real-life example that I'm going to display now on the screen here for you, and that is a hospital and the way they provide food to their patients. So we got the hospital as displayed on the screen, and the hospital has a quality management system. This quality management system actually is divided into many processes, and we're going to look at the catering process. So if you look at the screen here, you can see that the catering process actually is one big process. However, one big process will not be enough to deal with all the sub-fragments in there. So we will have to have sub-processes. So if you look at the sub-processes for this hospital, they will have to purchase the food, they will have to have warehousing, then they will have to have food manufacturing, they will have to have menu entry, then they will have to define the portions. Then the food actually has to be transported to the patient. Then, of course, what they also need is the nutritional value calculation so that everybody gets the nutrition that he needs. And last but not least, you will also have to clean everything. So as you can see, this is really built up like a pyramid. And at the bottom of this pyramid, below the sub-processes, you will have the worksheets that are associated with all the work steps inside this process. Let's go into the worksheet of the menu entry. Now, if you go to the menu entry, first what you do is you do a patient survey. Then you're going to input that into the menu entry system. You will transition these data to the kitchen. Then they will actually do an evaluation for the production and print a label tray so that the food that the patient ordered at the beginning actually is delivered to him. So as you can see, this is only one small sub-process of a complete quality management system. And this already should show you that, of course, if you really start into this, it's not done with 3 or 4 pages and your company is documented. No. Please keep in mind that you will have a lot of paperwork and a lot of things that you need to deal with. Hence, if you're really a small business with 3 or 4 people, you might not be the right time to start a quality management system from my point of view. Nonetheless, if you're more people, a quality management system can be very beneficial because you are sure that people can come in and go out and you can transition very easily and everybody knows what to do because it's written in a formal way. So, how have you been dealing with the quality management system? Please leave a comment down below. Thank you and see you next time.